everyone. So today I have a really nice feel-good flow for you. And the idea behind this class today is really to just help balance the earth element. So think about the changing of the seasons, late summer. We'll be doing the influencing via the meridian system. So specifically the spleen and the stomach meridians. So we'll tap into a little bit of acupressure along the way. And all you really need to start this practice is 2 yoga blocks, and let's get started on our mat. So we'll start with just 1 yoga block and begin on your back. And for this practice, we're going to start in a little bit of an inversion, so a supported bridge pose. You can slide that block the shortest possible way right underneath the sacrum. And whatever you'd like to do with the legs is fine. You can certainly keep your feet on the floor and your knees bent, which is how I like it here. But you could also stretch your legs out if that feels okay in the front of your hips. But find a nice place to begin. Let the arms relax alongside you. And let's just begin by noticing our breathing. Noticing the depth and the pace of your breath. Noticing if the breath feels smooth and even. And seeing if you can start to sense the body filling with air from bottom to top. So we feel the belly rising first and most, and then the ribs expanding all the way around. And finally, feeling that breath as it reaches the very top of the throat. And then feeling that soft release from top back down to bottom. And taking just a few more breaths here, really just start to notice and just really feel the breath in the body. If you're familiar with the Ujjayi breathing and you want to begin to constrict the base of your throat and just create that really subtle audible quality to your breath, go ahead and invite that in now. And staying very present with the breath, let's begin to draw our right knee in towards the chest. And you can hold on to it kind of loosely, interlace the fingers around the knee, relax the right foot. And all we're going to do here is a little bit of lymphatic pumping, just to kind of get that lymphatic system flowing a little bit better. So all we'll do right now is, as we exhale, draw the knee in as close to the abdomen as you can. And then as you inhale, letting the thigh float away from the belly. So all we're doing right now is a little bit of pumping through the front of the hip. So unlike our blood flow, which has our heart as a central pump, our lymphatic system doesn't have its own internal pump. So this is really helpful just to kind of help with our immunity. It's a really good addition to a changing of the seasons flow. And the next time you draw that right knee in, pause for just a moment. Let's interlace the hands behind the right thigh, right in the center of the hamstrings, and then flex through that right foot. As you inhale, keep your thigh close to your belly, and then stretch from knee to toes. So the thigh is not going to come away from the belly very much. And then as you exhale, bend the knee, flex the foot. And continue that with the pace of your own breath. And what we're doing here is a sciatic nerve floss. So just starting to kind of loosen up some of the tissue around the sciatic nerve. We're also
relaxing and stretching those hamstring muscles. So just kind of getting them ready for a little bit of work. Good. So the next time you bend the knee and flex the foot, think about pulling that thigh even closer in. Keep the thigh exactly where it's at. Release your arms out to a goalpost shape. Now keep your thigh where it's at and try to straighten your leg. So from knee all the way through those toes, but without letting that thigh move away from the belly. So what we're doing here is starting to engage the front of the hip flexors just a little bit. Good, and then exhale, bend the knee and set that right foot down on the floor. And let's continue on the other side. Pick the left knee up, loosely interlace the hands around your left knee. And we'll do a little bit of that lymphatic pumping now. So as we exhale, draw the thigh towards the belly. As we inhale, letting the thigh float away. And doing this with the pace of your breath, nice and slow. Really nourishing movement, really nourishing thing for our immune system. Good. Next time you pull the thigh in towards you, let's interlace the hands behind that left thigh again, right in the center of the hamstrings. Flex through the left foot. As you inhale now, think about lengthening from knee to toes, all while keeping the thigh connected to the belly or as close to it as you can. And then as you exhale, we're bending the knee and flexing the foot. Notice this movement is pretty slow. We're in no rush. See if you can move with the pace of your breath. Taking just one more. And as you pull that left heel in, flex the foot, keep the thigh where it's at, gently release those arms out to a goalpost shape. So already you might feel your hip flexors working just a little bit here. And then keep that thigh pulling in, try to extend through the leg, point the toes, all without letting that left thigh move away from the belly. For some of us, you might feel a little shaking happening here. How about just one more breath? Good. Now bending back through that left knee, lift the right foot up and take the shins parallel to the ceiling, flex through both feet. We're going to ground down, root down through the arms. And then as you inhale now, let's tap the right toes down to the floor. As you exhale, draw the right knee back up. Inhale, tap the left toes down. Exhale, draw the left knee back up. And then continue this at the pace of your own breath. This little bit of marching here, starting to build a little warmth through the abdomen, starting to get the core involved. And I know for some of you out there, this might be pretty easy. For some of you are already feeling that heat starting to accumulate. And so feel free to continue doing this exactly as you are if you're already feeling just a little bit of challenge. But if you're not really feeling challenged here, on your next breath in, stretch your right heel down towards the floor, maybe even tap the floor with the heel. And then pull that right knee back up. Extend the left leg, tap the heel down. And pick the left knee back up. We'll do just a few more. Continue at the pace of your own breath again. Good. Do just one more round. And draw that left knee back in. Plant both feet down on the floor. Begin to lift the hips up off of that block. And let's take the block and slide it off to the side for now. Draw the knees gently in towards the chest. Give yourself a nice squeeze. Release the arms out to a T. Slowly drop your knees to the right. Look over your left shoulder. As you inhale, draw those knees back through center. And as you exhale, take the knees to the left. Look over your right shoulder. Inhale, come back through center. Grab hold of the backs of the knees and rock your way all the way up to a seated position. So let's take our right foot to the floor and kind of hug your left heel in towards you. Interlace your hands around your right shin and just sit up really tall. Good. Now see if you can keep that length in the spine. Interlace your hands behind your left thigh. Maybe sit up just a little bit taller. And now wrap your right arm underneath your right thigh, and you're just going to kind of hold on there. Take your left peace fingers and begin to feel the outside of the right knee. So you're just kind of feeling around. You can feel the kneecap there, dropping just below the kneecap on the outside. We've got this little bony protrusion, this bottom part of the knee. Feel for that. And then drop just down off of that right onto the flesh. So this is stomach 36 approximately. This is one of the acupressure points. And I just want you to find a spot just below that bony protrusion there, right on the flesh. It's the top of the tibialis anterior. And you're going to start to kind of massage around there. Now for some of us, this feels pretty tender, so you can go light. If it feels really good, feel free to apply more pressure. This is one of the most common acupressure points that we use for immunity. And it's also on the yang side, so it's going to have an energetic quality to it, which is why we're doing this at the beginning of our practice. So pause the pressure and pause the movement, begin to apply a little bit more pressure there. And now just begin to engage the muscles of your core that you can connect with. Stretch the arms all the way up and overhead. And let's take a twist. Bring the right hand behind you, left arm to the outside of that right knee. Lift through the crown of the head. And then turn and look over your right shoulder. Drop your right ear towards your right shoulder. And just breathe. Take a few more breaths here. Begin to lift through the head, slowly unwind the spine, and we'll go right into the other side, and I'll turn sideways so maybe you can see this side just a little bit better. So we've got the sole of the left foot on the floor. Hug your right heel underneath you, and then interlace your hands around your left shin just to help you sit up nice and tall. Let's see if we can maybe sit a little bit taller. Wrap the hands behind the left thigh. Sit up even taller as you pull the hands into the back of the thigh, and try to keep that as you wrap now your left arm underneath your left leg. And this time we'll use our right peace fingers and kind of just start to feel around for the outer knee bone. And you're just feeling for that little bump. And then dropping just down off of it right onto the top of the tibialis anterior, that kind of outer lower leg muscle there, and start to massage. Start to just move those fingers around in little circles. Good. And pause the movement and just apply pressure here. We'll take just a few more breaths. Begin to engage your core so that when we let go, we stay sitting up nice and tall. Stretch those arms all the way up. And take a twist to your left now, dropping left fingertips behind you, right arm to the outside of that left leg.
Turn and look over your left shoulder. And drop your left ear towards your left shoulder. Good. Inhale, lift the head, slowly unwind, and let's find our way to a child's pose.
So you can roll right over the hands and knees if that's accessible to you. Big toes touching, knees out wide. Let's stretch those arms forward. Relax the heart down towards the floor. Relax the head down towards the floor. Take a few slow breaths. And relax, breath in. Let's rise up to hands and knees, table pose. So creases of the wrists are under the shoulders, knees are under the hips here. Let's take a few rounds of cat-cow. So as we inhale, we're dropping the belly, lifting the gaze, drawing the shoulders away from the ears. And then as you exhale, we're tucking the tail, rounding the spine, and pulling the chin in towards the chest. Do that twice more. Maybe closing the eyes and just really feeling how the spine is feeling today. Good. We'll come back to a neutral table pose. Walk your knees together and tuck your toes. Now, if when you tuck your toes, you already feel a big stretch through the bottoms of the feet, feel free to stay right here. Otherwise, you're going to walk the hands back. Maybe walk the hands up the thighs and maybe coming all the way up to this kneeling position. And we'll only hold here for a few breaths. See if you can relax the shoulders, relax the muscles of the face. Good. Slowly come forward, untuck those toes, sit back on the heels this time. And again, if you feel a lot through the front of the ankle bones, or the ankles, then stay right here. Otherwise, we're going to start to lean back. Bring your hands back behind you and maybe even elevate the knees. If you've got that, squeeze the shoulders. Squeeze those shoulder blades together, lift through the heart. You might even drop your head back, or if it feels better to you, you can keep your chin tucked. 2 more breaths here. Slowly drop the shins down, the knees down, come back to top of a push-up, and let's separate those knees again about hips width distance apart. As you inhale, stretch your right arm all the way up in the air, gazing towards that right hand. As we exhale, let's thread the needle. Take the right arm back behind your left arm, come all the way down on your right shoulder and the right side of your face. Now, if you'd like to keep your left hand down where it's at, that's a great spot. Maybe though you wrap your left arm behind your back, looking for the crease of your right hip. If you're feeling pretty comfortable here, think about lifting your left shoulder up. Maybe pressing your right arm into the mat just a little bit more. And taking one more breath. Slowly releasing that left hand down. Swim the right arm all the way up. Gaze up towards that right hand. And then as you exhale, set the right hand back down. Inhale, left arm lifts up. Gaze up towards that left hand. And as you exhale, thread the needle, left arm back behind the right. Come all the way down on that left shoulder. And maybe wrap your right arm behind your back. And think about lifting the right shoulder blade back towards the spine. And taking one more breath here. And slowly release that right hand down. As you inhale, stretch your left arm all the way back up. And as you exhale, set that left hand back down.
crawl the hands forward just a bit. We're going to take a downward facing dog. So tucking those toes, lifting the hips all the way up and back, stretching the heels towards the floor. And just kind of settle into this shape for a moment, maybe move around. Think about knees being soft, shoulders rolling apart, and then pushing the floor away from you as you lengthen the spine. Inhale, rise to the tippy toes, look forward. Exhale, step forward between your hands. Inhale, find a little bit of length, stretching the spine. Exhale, fold, bring the hands to the calves and gently pull yourself down. Good. Inhale, let's stretch the arms all the way up and overhead, gazing up towards your thumbs. Exhale, bring the hands together at the heart. Good. Inhale, arms rise, walk the big toes together, heels slightly apart. And as you exhale, sit down and back for a chair pose. And kind of get light on the toes a little bit. Think about hip creases pulling back as the fingertips reach up towards the corner of your room. Take 2 more breaths, maybe sink down just a little bit deeper. Good, exhale, folding forward. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, plant the hands, step back to downward facing dog. Good, as you inhale, rise to your tippy toes, lift your hip creases, and roll the body forward to top of a push-up. And then dip your hips down, draw your shoulders back, gaze forward. Inhale, lift the hips up, stretch the heels down. We'll do this one twice more. Inhale, rise to the tippy toes, lift the hips, roll the spine forward, top of a push-up. And exhale, dip the hips down, draw the shoulders away from the ears. Lift those hips all the way up and back, stretch the heels towards the floor. One more time, inhale, rise to those tippy toes, roll forward. Dip the hips down, take your gaze forward. And then exhale, lift those hips all the way up and back. Good, one more time, rise to those toes. This time look forward, and we'll step forward to the front of our mat. Inhale, lift halfway, and exhale, fold. Inhale, arms rise all the way up. Exhale, bring the hands together at the heart. Let's begin again. Walk the big toes to touch, heels slightly apart. Inhale, arms rise. Exhale, chair pose. Take a breath in. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, plant the hands, step to the back of the mat. Take a breath in. Exhale, Chaturanga, lower halfway down. Inhale, upward facing dog, untuck the toes. Exhale, downward facing dog. Let's stretch our right leg up in the air. As you exhale, step that right foot between the hands, pivot and plant your left heel. Now drive down through that right foot to rise up to warrior one. So we've got our hips trying to point forward, our arms straight up in the air, our chest pointing forward. Bring our hands behind the low back, interlace the fingers. Inhale, open up through the chest, maybe even gaze up. And exhale, humble warrior, but bow right over top of your right leg instead of inside of it. So we're trying to avoid kicking that right hip out right now. Inhale, let's rise back up, release the arms. Exhale, take the hands down to surround that right foot. Pivot onto the ball of the left, and let's stretch our right arm up in the air as you gaze up towards that right hand. Exhale, drop the right hand and the left knee down. Inhale, low lunge, arms rise, push forward into the hips. Exhale, drop the hands down, top of a push-up. Take an inhale. Exhale, Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog.
Let's hang out for a few breaths here. Relaxing the heels down, softening through the knees. Good. As we inhale, rise to the tippy toes. Exhale, step forward between the hands. Inhale, lift halfway. Let's find some length. Exhale, fold. Inhale, stretch the arms all the way up and overhead. Gaze towards those thumbs. And then exhale, draw the hands together at the heart. Inhale, arms rise. Walk the feet together. Exhale, chair pose, sit down and back. Take a breath in. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, plant the hands, step back, top of a push-up. Take a breath in. Exhale, Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Stretch your left leg up in the air. And then as you exhale, step that left foot between your hands. Warrior one, arms rise all the way up. Bring the hands behind the low back, interlace the fingers. Inhale, open up through the chest. Exhale, humble warrior, bowing right over top of that left leg. Maybe your gaze is down at your toes. Inhale, rise up, release that bind. Exhale, drop the hands down to surround your left foot, pivot onto the ball of the right. Inhale, left arm lifts, gaze up. Exhale, drop that left hand, right knee down to the floor. Inhale, low lunge, arms rise, maybe lean back just a little bit. Exhale, drop the hands down to the floor, Chaturanga. Inhale to upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Let's drop the knees to the floor and take a child's pose, just coming back to your breath, making sure that breath is steady. Let's take 3 more breaths here. As you inhale, rise back up to hands and knees. Find downward facing dog. Inhale, rise to the tippy toes. Exhale, step to the front of your mat. Inhale, lift halfway. Let's find some length. Exhale, fold. Inhale, arms rise all the way up and overhead. And exhale, join the hands together at the heart. Good, we're gonna add on a little bit here. Let's walk the big toes to touch, heels slightly apart. Inhale, arms rise. Exhale, chair pose. Good, inhale, come up to standing. Draw your right knee up with you, flex through that right foot. And then see if you can wrap your hands around your knee. We did this when we were on the floor. See if you can squeeze that right thigh in towards you as close as possible. And then we're gonna let go of the leg without letting the thigh drop. Good, take just one more breath here. Exhale, chair pose. Take a breath in. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, plant the hands. Let's step back, top of a push-up. Take a breath in. Exhale, Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, step that right foot between the hands, drop the left knee. Inhale, low lunge, arms rise, push forward through those hips. Exhale, drop the hands down, top of a push-up. And Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, rise to those tippy toes. Exhale, step forward between the hands. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, fold. Inhale, arms rise all the way up. And exhale, draw the hands together at the heart. Good. Inhale, stretch the arms up. Exhale, chair pose. Inhale, rise up, bring that left knee up with you, flex through the foot. And then see if you can wrap your hands around that left knee, squeeze the thigh up and in, try to keep it there. And then release the arms straight back up again. Good, exhale, chair pose. Take a breath in. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, let's plant the hands, step back, top of a push-up. Take a breath in. Exhale, Chaturanga. Inhale to upward facing dog. Good. Exhale, downward facing dog. Left leg lifts. Exhale, step that left foot between the hands, drop the right knee. Inhale, low lunge, arms rise, lift up, lean back. Exhale, top of a push-up, drop the hands, step back. Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Good, taking 5 more breaths here. Then we'll do one more standing flow with a bunch of challenge. You'll find some similar poses and some new poses. So let's inhale, rise to those tippy toes, gaze forward. Exhale, step forward between the hands. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, fold. Good. Inhale, arms rise all the way up and overhead. Exhale, hands together at the heart, and then grab your yoga blocks if you have them. Place them at the front of your mat, probably the tallest possible way, and you may or may not use them. We'll see. So let's join the big toes together again, heels slightly apart. Inhale, arms rise. Exhale, chair pose. Good. Inhale, push into the left foot. Let's take that right knee up with us. Wrap the hands around the knee. See if you can squeeze the thigh in a little bit closer. Good. Now release the arms straight up in the air. Cross your right ankle over your left thigh, and let's sit down into a standing pigeon pose. Good. Now here's what the blocks are for. So maybe the fingertips come down onto the blocks here, or if you can reach the floor, bring your hands all the way down to the floor and sit pretty deeply into this stretch. Leave your left fingertips down, reach your right arm up for a twist. And then drop your right fingertips down, press into that left foot, engage your core. Bring the hands up to the heart. See if you can stand back up into our standing pigeon pose. Good, and then chair pose, release the right foot next to the left. Exhale, fold forward. Feel free to move those blocks out of your way. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, plant the hands, step to the back of the mat, top of a push-up. Let's take our Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, take that right leg up. Exhale, step the right foot between the hands. Let's bring back our warrior one. Pivot and plant that left heel. Arms rise all the way up. And we'll pause here for a few breaths this round. Think about squeezing your right hip back. Regulating that breath. Feeling the support beneath your feet. And taking one more breath. Exhale, drop the hands down to the floor. Pivot onto the ball of that left foot. Stretch your right arm up. And then we're going to turn all 10 toes to the right. So pivot your right toes to the right, drop your left heel. Inhale, stretch your right arm all the way up and over that right ear. Pause here, really press your left hand down into the mat, maybe gazing underneath your right arm. Good, turn all 10 toes forward, drop the right hand down, drop the left knee down. Inhale, low lunge, arms rise. Good, exhale, lean forward, tuck your left toes. And then as we inhale, let's rise up to crescent. Good. Really strong thing about that back leg squeezing, the muscles of that back leg squeezing onto the bones of the back leg. Take one more breath. And then let's drop our hands down to surround the right foot and stretch that right leg straight for a pyramid pose. Feel free to grab your yoga blocks if you want them. Drop your head towards your knee or your shin. See if you can draw the crown of your head towards your right foot. Softly bend into that right knee, step your left foot about halfway forward, and then straighten both legs again, fold over that front leg. Lift halfway. You can leave your left fingertips down on the floor or a block. I kind of like to have a block here. Bring your right thumb to the crease of your right hip and just encourage your right hip back so you'll feel your hips sway to the left. And then stretch your right arm all the way up, gazing towards that right hand. Good. Look down, drop your right hand down. Just step your left foot forward to meet your right. You can move that block out of your way. And exhale, fold in, noticing the contrast from side to side. And push those feet down. Inhale, stretch the arms all the way up and overhead. So just one more side. Exhale, draw those hands together at the heart. Inhale, arms rise, walk the big toes to touch. Exhale, sit down and back for our chair pose. Inhale, rise up, draw that left knee up with you. Take the hands, wrap them around the knee. See if you can draw the knee up without buckling into your right knee. Good, and then release the arms back up. Keep that leg in the air, keep breathing. Standing pigeon, cross your left ankle over your right thigh. Join those palms together as you sit down. And now drop your fingertips either to your blocks or to the floor. Sink down just a little bit deeper. Let's leave our right hand down this time. Stretch your left arm up in the air carefully. Exhale, set your left fingertips down. Carefully float your hands back to your heart for standing pigeon. And then take a chair pose. Drop that left foot down, extend the arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, plant the hands, step to the back of the mat, top of a push-up. And take your Chaturanga. Inhale to upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Left leg lifts. As you exhale, step that left foot between the hands, pivot and plant the right heel. Arms rise all the way up for a nice warrior one. Pause here. So we've got that back foot at about a 45-degree angle. Pressing down through the outer foot. Reconnecting with the steadiness of your breath. Good. As you exhale, drop the hands down to surround the front foot. Pivot onto the ball of the right foot. Stretch your left arm up in the air. And now we'll turn all 10 toes to the left. Inhale, stretch that left arm all the way up and over. Maybe gaze underneath that left arm. Good. Exhale, swim the left hand down, turn the toes forward, drop the right knee.
Inhale, low lunge, arms rise up. Exhale, lean forward, swing the arms back, tuck the toes. Inhale, crescent warrior, rise all the way up. Good, exhale, drop the hands down to surround your front foot. And we'll straighten that left leg, relax the right heel. So again, we're imagining, really even just feeling that decompression in the spine as we encourage the crown of the head towards the left foot. Good, let's rebend into your left knee. Step the right foot about halfway forward and then refold over straight legs. Good, inhale, lift and lengthen. Your right hand will stay down. You can place it on a block if you'd like. Take your left thumb to the crease of your left hip and pull it back so you feel yourself sway to the right a little bit. And then stretch your left arm up for a revolve triangle pose. Exhale, drop that left hand down. Step your right foot forward to meet your left. Inhale, lift halfway. And exhale, fold. Pausing here in this forward fold. Let's drop the hands to the floor. Step back to hands and knees. And find a child's pose. Sink those hips back. Really nice work. And slowly inhale, rise up to hands and knees and come to a seat. So we have just one seated pose here before we get a nice Shavasana. So join the soles of the feet together, knees fall out to the sides in Baddha Konasana. We have one more acupressure point to get to. So take your 4 fingers and place them just above your inner ankle bone. So feel your inner ankle bone and then place those fingers about 4 fingers above the inner ankle bone. And right about at the outside of where your pinky finger is where we're going to press our thumbs. So it doesn't have to be perfect. We're going to get as close to that point as possible and just start to push down. So we're behind the shin bone, right on the flesh there, about 4 fingers widths above the inner ankle bone. And then just start to massage. So this is spleen 6. And this is the yin side. So now towards the end of our practice, we're addressing just a little bit more of a calming feeling. Maybe regulating the breath while we're here. And stopping that movement of the thumb and just apply pressure. Maybe closing the eyes. Releasing the thumbs, and you're going to crawl your way into a forward fold. Just go as deeply as you can here. You might be sitting up pretty tall and tucking the chin. Some of you might have your bellies resting right on your feet. You're just going to go to where you feel comfortable. Stay here for about 5 more breaths. If you have a little bit more space, begin to crawl your fingers a little bit further forward. Maybe even imagine that your hands are glued into the mat and you're trying to pull the mat back towards you. See if that helps you deepen into this shape a little bit. Slowly begin to stack the spine from bottom to top. Let's join the inner thighs together and lay right down onto our backs. Just take a moment to let the low back relax a little bit there. Draw the knees in towards you. Extend the legs up for a candlestick pose. Release the arms. See if you can flex through the feet. Try to stack the ankles over the knees over the hips. Pull the toes down towards the face. Begin to separate the feet and we'll take happy baby. So you're reaching for the outer feet here. The arms are in front of the shins and the ankles. If that's not accessible to you, grab hold of the backs of the knees or the backs of the thighs. Gently draw those knees down. Push the feet into the hands. Just draw the knees together, hug them in towards one another. Stretch the arms out to a T. Let's drop the knees to the left and look over the right shoulder. Take a deep breath in and a full breath out. Inhale, come back through center. Let's take the knees to the right as you look off the left shoulder. Deep breath in. Full breath out. As you inhale, come back through center. You can leave the arms right where they're at. Begin to stretch one leg, followed by the other, down to the bottom corners of the mat. See if you can reconnect with that sensation of being supported by the ground, supported by your yoga mat, supported by your breath. Let's take a deep breath in. Exhale, let it go. Enjoy these next few minutes here just lying in Shavasana. Soaking in all of the nourishment from the class. Free to linger here, to stay here as long as you'd like, or just begin to reawaken the body by moving the fingers and the toes, rolling the ankles and the wrists, swaying the head softly side to side. Sliding the legs together, stretching the arms all the way back behind you. Give yourself a deep breath in as you stretch. And as you exhale, draw the knees in towards you. And either rocking to your side, maybe rolling right on up to seated. And stretching the arms all the way overhead, gazing up towards the thumbs. Exhale, drawing the hands together at the heart. Namaste.